Ladies and gentlemen, the GFinity Elite Series is here, so there's no surprises what we're covering this week on the Podium. G'day gamers and welcome to the Podium, where we take a look at the biggest hits, epic takedowns and classic comebacks from across the world of esports. And of course, with GFinity launching this weekend, someone who was there taking it all in was Mr. Joe Gilroy.
I was there, and someone who was there a little bit as well, not always wearing identical shirts to me, is Bo Uche.
Yes, no, we do have an extensive wardrobe collection here in the wardrobe department of the Podium at Fox Studios, but we've decided that
we're always going to wear the same. It's called White Dude Chic, and we're
brought to you by Target.
Nailing it, yeah. GFinity was this weekend. It was awesome. I was a huge fan of what they put on. It was very close to here, just across Inmore Park, and yeah, it worked out really well. I thought the stadium itself was fantastic. You can check it out on my Twitter. I took a bunch of photos. But yeah, apart from that, the competition was really good as well. The CSGO competition is what started everything on the Saturday. We got to see the teams. You can see them behind us. Duke it out. It was the Deceptors versus Order first up. And I think everyone expected the Order to smash them, but the Deceptors, they put in a fantastic effort. And it looked pretty much like a Deceptors lock early on until Order came back and destroyed them. Sad.
Yes, sorry, Brizzy boys. I'm a Queenslander, so this one cut especially deep.
I know. They just needed to dig a little bit deeper, but that's the nature of the competition. They did better than the Sydney Derby, where the Raw destroyed the Chiefs. It was not pretty.
No, it wasn't.
No, and the third match was Advance versus Ground Zero, Melbourne versus Perth, respectively, and that was a really good match as well. It was probably the most competitive match of the weekend. Both teams seemed to have a really good measure of one another, but most importantly, it was on Dust 2. And I think going in with a lot of best of ones, I was afraid that all we were going to see is a couple of the same maps that you always see in best of ones, like Mirage. But Dust 2 came out. It was awesome. And yeah, that's the clip we're going to have a look at. Have a look at this. So close.
4 versus 3, so they still have the player advantage. And that Molotov just makes it very, very difficult to cross, but it's still definitely doable.
Here we are, Waffy using that smoke. There's a little bit of cover. And there we are, he spots Pex. Can't hit the shot. Now Dan's here playing on the ramp, close, waiting for the push. CT's definitely going to be going for the retake. They do have the numbers here to do it, although Herbs has something to say about that one. Dan's falling to Waffy. Now Pex finds one. Can he find any more? Ooh, does a bit of damage, but Waffy too sharp, hits the headshot. Now in a 1v2 situation, Herbs doesn't have to do too much damage. The defuse, he's going to be stuck. Willie's going to pick it up with the Ninja. Herbs gets the frag.
So Ground Zero managed to, they win it, but it was costly. They still managed to win the game though, and that's all that matters, What did you think of the Counter-Strike, Bo?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. The Counter-Strike was actually what I missed on the first day.
Yeah.
I didn't get to tune in, but what I did get to see was, you alluded to at the beginning, was the setup that we have here at the Entertainment Quarter, partnership with Hoyts here in Sydney. The stadium is world-class. It is an absolutely world-class setup. Through the streams, you can get a kind of sense of the production values, but to actually be there in the room and seeing the competition live and just the way that everything was produced was really slick. And I also watched some of the streams at home through their distribution partner in Channel 10, which is also top-notch. It's just exactly the way that they should be introducing this tournament. And, while the CSGO results weren't quite, were fine.
Yep.
There's a lot more action that we're going to talk about in a second, but it was just, from the get-go, it was like, this is legit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super legit. And their director probably wasn't super passive-aggressive towards them either, so...
Yeah, no, we wouldn't know what that's like here. But one interesting thing from the CSGO rounds, the Brisbane Deceptors actually had the only female player in the tournament.
Yeah, so. Connie plays for the Sydney Saints. She's playing for Brisbane Deceptors along with some of her teammates. Awesome. She put in an awesome effort on the weekends. And, she got some critical kills. And, everyone on the team was lifting. But I think it's one of those things, she is used to playing with her teammates, just as everyone on that team is used to playing with their own teammates. And I think it's going to take some time for all of them to gel together so that they can get into a rhythm. Because as it was, the Deceptors were winning rounds solely from out-fragging, and you can't win games that way. You need, the strategy and stuff, and that will come. That will absolutely come.
But it's the first week, so you expect these kind of teething issues, but a really promising kickoff to CS:GO.
Yeah.
So that wasn't all the action we saw from GFinity. Next up was the Rocket League, and we were talking before about some of the challenges in week one. The team we're going to talk about now had a massive challenge with half their team not even being there.
I mean, this was one of the crazy things that is going to plague GFinity throughout the entire tournament. I think the entire series is that teams are going to go away. In the CS:GO order are away at Zotac this week, and in the Rocket League, the Chiefs are away at the Worlds at RLCS Season 5 Worlds, and so the sub team had to come in and carry them through.
Yeah, it was a fully drafted team, but they did pretty well.
They got the result, right? That's all that matters. It was another Sydney derby. So the way that GFinity works is each team plays the same team across all 3 games throughout the weekends. And so Order would play Deceptors, Raw would play the Chiefs, and Avant would play Ground Zero on each game.
Of the games, yeah.
So we had three instances of the Sydney derby, and it was pretty good. This the Rocket League in particular was fantastic. It went all the way down to the wire. The Chiefs went up 2-0 early on, and Raw managed to bring it back to set up the reverse sweep basically. The last game went into overtime. This clip we're going to watch is from Game 3. The Raw are playing for their lives. If they do not win this game, they're done for the week. It's over. So they managed to put it together. Have a look.
They might potentially put this away here, but the shot is wide.
Talentina comes in, squares it off, but to unavail. 1 minute left. The steal from Sydney Chiefs. DJM waits patiently, but Change has put the pedal to the metal. Comes around the right wing, and he's going to wait in the centre as Justice Robo goes up, but Lim always winning out these challenges. Goes off the backboard, hasn't been defended. The lock away from Change, and he gets it. Sydney Raw are back in the series.
And that means we are going to Game 4. A nice piece of play here. A missed defensive opportunity there on the backboard that could have been cleared away.
Yep.
Instead, it just fell nicely into the path.
Yeah, and there you have it. And so it was a great example of one of the best contests from the weekend. And we were saying about being in the room at the time. Like, that was the match where the atmosphere really kicked in. You're like, this competition's legit. Like, this is the crowd was into it. There was the seesawing scoring battles. It was just a great experience all round.
You can hear some cheering in the background as well. You can hear people yelling. I think mostly people were going for the Raw, or the vocal people were going for the Raw. I got the feeling that they might have been employees of GFinity because they were cheering for the GFinity team.
We were equal in our distribution of applause and cheering for all the teams that competed over the weekend.
Of course, except Go Deceptors. It was fantastic all the way through. There were some stompings. The Avant Ground Zero game in particular was a bit of a stomping, and that's because at the end of the day, Ground Zero have one of the best teams in Australia playing on their roster on loan from Legacy. And they're just very difficult to beat. Yeah. Even on a bad day, they'd still be tough to beat unless you are the Chiefs regular roster, who aren't here. So
take that.
It was fantastic. I love Rocket League. I love that it was broadcast on 10. I think it's the perfect game for it. I'm sure it got a lot of people into watching eSports.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Sunday morning on Channel 10, it was like, why not tune in and check it out?
Yeah.
So last on the agenda for the weekend of the GFinity Elite Series launch was Street Fighter. Now, I know they were the contests that you were most looking forward to over the course of the weekend. How'd they go?
Look, it was probably the best, most entertaining of the games, I thought. The casting did such an excellent job, but the characters that are in the FGC, and they've all been, sort of roped into competing in the GFinity Elite Series. It's a team tournament, which is a little bit odd for Street Fighter. It's not my preferred way to watch the the game, but it still works out really well because those characters are there. Characters like ROF and BK Sama and Somnak and like everyone, Rumors of Ghost, they all got into it, you know. They all had a really good time, and the casters were keeping things going and keeping things very entertaining. Most importantly, though, the competition was there. In particular, we were watching. Well, actually, it was there across the range of them. The last game of the tournament of the weekend, Ground Zero versus Savant, went all the way down to the wire. It was very close, but the one we're going to check out is Deceptors versus Order, because it was a pretty domineering ending.
I think this is classified an epic takedown.
Camzace has got to pick up the pace here now. There's that
Oh,
standing
there
hard
you
punch,
go.
but doesn't work out for it.
Instant area X Kunai is one of the best tools in the game, as we mentioned before.
And look at he's just getting
pressure.
in. Look how fast he's getting in. Look at that standing medium punch counter hit pressure. He's able to confirm off that.
Stun.
And there's the stun.
Dead.
And that might be it already.
Yeah, he's dead. He's super dead.
That
My
is
goodness.
it. And Melbourne Order goes up 3-2 against the Brisbane Deceptors. Very well played by Bug.
So it's never good to see a team go down, but yeah.
It's a stomping, but I think it needed to happen for Order because they are a very good team.
Yeah.
They've got some really, really good players, and they let it go closer than it probably should have, to be honest.
Yeah.
They wound up winning, but yeah, that scoreline I don't think is what they expected. That's the nature of the 3 versus 3 Street Fighter, though. You know, upsets can happen, especially, and you know, it's best of ones as well. So you know, anything can happen, sort of, and yeah, I guess that makes it more entertaining as well, which is good.
Yeah, and so we had a big fighting tournament recently down in Melbourne with BAM 10,
Yeah.
and you know, then the Street Fighter rounds at GFinity. How'd they compare? You know, which like when you're comparing those two, like which did you find more appealing?
I'll tell you what. If I was watching BAM 10, I wouldn't even tune in to the 3v3 at BAM 10 because of the level of competition that you could see in the Tekken, in the 1v1 Street Fighter, in so many other facets. But in GFinity, it is a perfect format. It really does work. It works out really well because of the way they present it. You know, it all comes down to presentation, and that's all.
And I guess that's the comparison between you know, a league, which will be on next weekend, and then the invitationals, which are one-off kind of spectacles.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you want that hype match,
Yeah.
that hype one-off match. But with a league, you want something to come back to every week,
And we certainly have that across all the sports that we saw this weekend. Well, as much as we'd like to stay with GFinity, we do have more action from across the world of esports, and there's some Aussie teams competing in PUBG at the moment.
The Oceanic Invitationals, online invitational qualifiers. I mean, we're getting it well out of control.
There's way too many acronyms.
PUBG, global, well out of control. But nevertheless, the online qualifiers were on this weekend, and you can see the teams that qualified behind us. It was some epic work. It was some epic competition because you had 320 teams competing for an opportunity to be one of the top 20 in Australia. Only one gets to go to Germany.
Yeah.
It's bananas, but it is a $2 million prize pool, so it's worth it.
Yeah, worth putting in the hours, and I mean, and that's a pretty big pool stage, 320 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and there was some issues as well. There were some hiccups along the way. It was hard to find certain games on streams and stuff like that. It was sort of spread out all over the place.
Yeah.
There were a couple of they had to redo a couple of games because of server malfunctions and stuff like that, which is never good when a single game can take 35 minutes. But at the end of the day, they got it done. And if you look at the teams behind us, largely the best teams in Australia did get to qualify. And that is probably most indicative that it worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, the teams that, there was no surprises in what we're seeing.
Yeah, largely. Yeah. There were a couple of surprises along the way, some definite upsets, but you look at, we've got Chiefs. They're in our clip. Is spectacular. They put this one up on Twitter. It was hilarious, champs. Ripping people up Mad Max style on the bridge. Have a look at it.
Oh,
Yep.
just
Yep,
need
it's
it,
gonna
dude.
Yeah. Come at me, bro!
See, now that in itself is enough inspiration for me to get good at PUBG, so I too can ride through the wilderness, capping off motorcyclists.
Like, at the end of the day, if you're driving across a bridge, even in a not competitive PUBG game, you have made a grave error somewhere.
Yeah.
The fact that they mostly got away with it, it got some kills as well, which is worth points.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. You can see the teams behind us, though. You know, the likes of Atletico and Greyhound and the Chiefs all made it in, and it will be very cool to see them compete on the LAN finals in Sydney later this month. It's going to be a pretty big showdown.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to fit them all into the ESL studio in Sydney.
Yeah, well, we'll find out in a couple of weeks. So you said there were some upsets and some surprises in there. Who surprised you the most?
You know, most of the surprises were in individual rounds when teams managed to. Some of the teams like Greyhound managed to drop out really early, and it was, I think, what they did really well was they didn't tilt. They managed to clutch it out and finish off the work that they were doing. You know, they managed to then get another chicken dinner, get the points back, get a lot of kills, and actually do the work, play the game. You know, and that's good stuff. That's good to see. Yeah,
it's all about those chicken dinners, yo. So there you go, folks. Some pretty awesome action coming out of Sydney over the weekend, the home of eSports in Australia. But of course that's not it. Like, there's of course more GFinity coming up, but there's, we're also seeing more the OPL returns.
Yeah, the OPL returns this week. It's extremely exciting. I mean, we've been watching some OCS, but this is what they're working towards. Obviously, this is the best League of Legends Australia has to offer, and that's it. I'm excited. I'm excited for Split 2, and they're working towards bigger and better things as always.
Yeah, no, and that'll be exciting to tune in. It's interesting to see how they go up against the other competitions going on, and there's also what else is going on?
The RLCS.
The RLCS,
so
exactly.
Two Aussie teams, Tainted Minds and the Chiefs, are over in London right now, doing getting ready to take on the world. And I actually have confidence.
Yeah, you feeling good?
I think they can. I think they can do it.
Who out of the two do you think's got the best chance?
The Chiefs have easily the best chance. It's not to take anything away from the Tainted Minds team. The Chiefs are just crazy good. They're really good, and the amount of work they've been doing to come together as a team and work on set pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know Rocket League lingo, but set pieces. I mean, they're going to put together some spectacular stuff, and it's definitely going to be worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. So tune in this weekend. It's always great to get behind Aussie teams that are doing well overseas, but the local team competitions will be kicking off and continuing as well.
Yep.
So there's so much going on.
There's a lot.
There's lots. So make sure you tune in here next week. We'll cover it all. See you next week.